السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله لا نبي بعده. Alhamdulillah, praise all to Allah who enable us, who permit us to gather this morning, inshallah, to learn our deen, our religion, and salat and salam may Allah bestow upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our example till end of the time. Alhamdulillah, already with us, Mahmud Kurkcu. I think it's been a while since he gave us this Tazkiyat al-Nafs lecture. Inshallah, he's going to continue the lecture series on that topic. And before we start, I advise all of us to focus our to clean our intention, just to gain the benefit from the lecture he's going to give. Inshallah, you could start.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله حق حمده، والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد. اللهم صل صلاة كاملة وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا محمد الذي تنحل به القلب وتنفرد به الكرب وتقطع الحوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتم ويستسقى الغمام بوجه كريم وعلى آله وصحبه في كل لمحة ونفس بعدد كل معلم. اللهم إنا نسألك أن تكون والعافية. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. توفنا مسلما والحقنا. يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وشاكرا وتوبة نصوحا. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ودعاء لا يسمع وعمل لا يرفع ونفس لا تشفع. رب زدني علما وفهما والحقنا بالصالحين. رب يسر ولا تعسر. رب تمم الخير. اللهم بارك لنا في رجب وشعبان وبلغنا رمضان. يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. برحمتك نستغيث. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Maybe the volume is down. أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My respected brothers and my respected sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah into our learning today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this learning as what Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam calls ilman nafi'a, beneficial knowledge. Otherwise, everything else is an empty pursuit. Everything else is waste of time. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, we have been going through this particular series on Tazkiyat al-Nafs, on understanding who we are and what we are. It is sometimes attributed to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and sometimes Ibn Arabi, one of the other great scholars, he saying, "Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbah." The one who knows himself, the one who knows his nafs, verily knows Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning, the more you know about your nafs, how it operates, its tricks, its desires, its traits, your hidden enemy, you will come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to us in the Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have not created jinkind or the mankind except to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, in his tafsir, when it comes to recitation of this particular ayah, he used the word لِيَعْرِفُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala therefore says, we have not created jinkind or the mankind except to know us, to reach ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this is impossible unless you become healthy. You get your nafs rid of the diseases, maladies it has. It is impossible to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in order to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to know ourselves. And in Islam, we say the sources of evil that bent on destroying ourselves, our community, our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are three. One is our nafs, because it is designed in such a way, it is bent on destroying itself. Without tarbiyah, without tazkiyah, without understanding, without training this nafs, no matter who you are, if it finds the opportunity, it will destroy you. The second is shaitan alayhi la'na, the sworn enemy. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Verily in shaitan there is animosity, hatred. He is bent on destroying you, to take you, drag you with him into Jahannam. That's his sworn mission. Therefore, take him as your sworn enemy. How do you take him as a sworn enemy? By knowing his traits, how he operates. But if you were to ask me which is more powerful, shaitan or nafs, I would definitely say it is the nafs. The reason being, even Shaitan alayhi la'na lost his position, his maqam. He was cursed, kicked out from the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of his nafs, because of kibr, because of hasad. Two very common attributes of nafs al-ammara. We have been going through this process and explaining how nafs functions. It is a smooth operator that lives under our collar. It is ourselves. Depending on how you explain with the modern psychology, it is the ego within. It seems to be operating at a level that we are completely unaware of. It seems to be on our side at all times. When we are hungry, it says, get up and eat. You're starving. It seems to be on our side. When we are cold, it says, put on something, a jacket on, you're going to become sick. It seems to be on our side. When we're tired, we are told that go to sleep. Otherwise, you're going to become sick. Constantly in a state of perpetual anxiety. Working out? Okay. There is one hadith Qudsi. I can find the source for you. I know exactly where it is, but I can't remember the wording in Arabic. But the meaning is this. There is no ilah, God, that is worshipped under the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has more dominions, control over than nafsul ammara. People literally worship themselves. The ones who do not know their nafsul ammara always so nicely controlled by the smooth operator. Whether you're male or female, you are Chinese or Japanese, you are American or you are Australian, nationality is irrelevant. Nafs is exactly the same. Unless this tazkiyah, which is fard upon us, is performed on regular basis, nafsul ammara will always try to destroy you. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Those who are constantly battling, fighting, combating, not to fall into the trap of nafsul ammara, are the ones who are saved. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. And the ones who have failed in this obligation and duty, they will be destroyed. There is one dua of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam that we are advised to make every day after each salat. After each salat, that I highly recommend to you also, which goes to show how important this battle is and how powerful this inner enemy is. أعدى عدوك التي بين جنبيك. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that enemy, regard him as your number one enemy, is no other place except under your collar. What's under my clothes? Me. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam makes the dua every day. Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinika wa ta'atik. O the one who revolves, changes the hearts constantly. Please keep my heart steady, steadfast in your obedience, in following you. But the second part of the dua is more fascinating. وَلَا تَكِلْنِي إِلَى نَفْسِي. Do not ever leave me in the hands of my nafs. وَلَا تَكِلْنِي إِلَى نَفْسِي طَرْفَةَ عَيْنٍ. For a blink of an eye. How long does it take to blink an eye? It's so automatic you don't even realize. Within that little section, it'll destroy you. وَلَا تَكِلْنِي إِلَى نَفْسِي طَرْفَةَ عَيْنٍ وَمَنْ أَقَلَّ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. For a duration of just a blink of an eye, or even a duration less than that. So what does this tell us? Our enemy is not far. Our enemy is not in New Zealand. Our enemy is within. The damage that we cause to ourselves is far more greater than any poison, any external harm that we can cause to ourselves. So Islam's mission, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mission, is to come and teach us, and show us the ways of combating the nafs, understanding the nafs, so that we can be a human being. Otherwise, when the animal self, nafsul ammara, the tyrannical self, is in charge, you might even look like a Muslim from outside. You might have been praying your 5 times a day, salat. When the nafs is in charge, we are nothing but a stooge, a plaything, a clown in the hands of nafsul ammara. We need to understand. That's why we started understanding nafsul ammara. We need to understand, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yusuf, through the words of the Yusuf alayhi salam, إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ. Nafs will constantly, incessantly, perpetually will command you to disobey Allah. Constantly sin against Allah. إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي. Unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is most merciful, His help comes to you, and you have learned about your nafs. You went through a process of cleansing, and you're always on guard. Constantly, nafs will destroy. If somebody says, this person he had cancer and he died. Excuse me, what happened to him again? Died. Then when he's dead, cancer becomes relevant. He's dead. Or this person had a heart attack. This person died from diabetes. This person has died from some other ailment. But at the end, they're all dead. This person was smoking so much. He had a lung cancer. Yeah, you died. Unless you're always in a state of health, you're what? You're dead. Nafsul ammara is such. Our ulama teach us from Quran and Sunnah. It has unique attributes. Nafsul ammara, which is the lowest of the nafs, we went through. You need to train. Starting base, instinctive or instinctual state of the nafs is the animal self, reptilian state. What differs us from the animals, according to the people, scholars, is the difference between our brain and the frontal cortex. Our frontal cortex really puts us apart from the rest of the animals. If you remove the frontal cortex, you're nothing but an animal. Similarly, unless you develop that frontal cortex in your brain, in your spiritual heart and brain, you are nothing but an animal in the sight of Islam. You're always, the more intelligent you are, the more you'll be in pursuit of your desires, your shahawat, your wants. You will be bent on destroying yourself without even knowing. So our ulama tell us that we must get rid of these 12, minimum 12 diseases. We have to learn what they are. Everybody's born with it. Everybody is born with every single one of them. But some of them have more, easier tendency to bring it about. And some of us, less tendency. And depending on the tarbiyah, depending on the tazkiyah that you have received in your young age or in your young youth, you will never be able to get rid of yourself from these diseases. We have covered a lot of them. Inshallah, I want to cover number 10, no, not 10, number 8 and 9. I think we've done the rest. Correct? We've done kufur, we've done shirk, we've done ghafla, state of heedlessness. What was ghafla in Indonesian? You have a beautiful word for it.
Lalai.
Lalai. Yes, that one. Jahala, ignorance. Remember I said 3 sources of evil in Islam. One was nafs, second is shaitan, and they're all nourished from one more source, jahala. The more jahil you are, meaning you do not know, you're disconnected from the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his message, his religion, that's what jahala is. You are more ghafil, more jahil. You design ways of running your own life according to your dictates, according to your desires. You are the God for yourself. Unless you get rid of this barrier, you'll never reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jahala is the greatest source. When we're jahil, we become less than animals. The more we learn, the more ilman nafi'a, beneficial knowledge, settles in your heart, the greater chance there is for you in your life to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. By default, wallahi, nafs will never and ever willingly make sajda, submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know from yourself, when the time of adhan comes, all of a sudden, everything else becomes important except salah. Waking up for Fajr in the morning is the most difficult thing because you had a late night the previous night. Yeah, oh, come on, you've come up with excuses. Who's the one coming up with excuses? It's a nafs. You fight with your nafs. Without fighting the nafs, it's a constant battle. Jahadu fi nafs. So fighting, you have a great jihad. The greatest jihad is not the jihad that you fight outside against the visible enemy. The greatest jihad is for you to fight against your own desire. Greatest jihad. Everybody knows this. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was returning from some battle, that Muslims were carrying their wounded and they lost a lot of people. And As they were walking towards home back, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam stopped them and he says, now from a small enemy, we're going to a bigger enemy now, bigger battle. They took him literally. They began to shake. They said, Ya Rasulullah, how could there be any other that waiting for us behind the hill? He says, our greatest enemy is the enemy within. That enemy makes you wear a nice, beautiful hijab. That enemy makes you wear beautiful topi and beautiful, dress, and you come to the masjid, pretend to be so nice, mashallah. Salaam alaikum. That's the nafs. But nafs, yeah, if your behavior in every choice that you make is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are in a state of ubudiyyah. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you're not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the binary system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you're not worshipping, Allah puts it as you're worshipping shaitan. And if you're worshipping shaitan, you're automatically worshipping your nafs. As simple as this. But nobody knows this except you. If a young man is in love with a girl, when we're sitting amongst us here, we don't know, but he knows. His heart is going each time her name is mentioned. You know your nafs better than everyone else. You can pretend to us, pretend to me. I can pretend towards you. And I'm very good at pretending. Yeah? Everybody knows that I'm a sheikh. Maybe I am worse than shaitan. The result is only known at the end of our lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us in this dunya to overcome our nafsul ammar, to perform tazkiyah. There is one particular hadith of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I have made mention of this hadith to you from a different perspective. Maybe inshallah I will link everything together. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الدنيا ملعونة وملعون ما فيها إلا ذكر الله تعالى ومن والاه عالما أو متعلما. This is the hadith. This world, your existence, your very existence in this environment, this dunya. Dunya is anything and everything that disconnects you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever the shape form is, whatever you experience in this existence of yours, anything and everything, from your children, to your families, to your work, money, whatever it is, your position, your self-worth, your arrogance, your diplomas, your degrees, whatever keeps you away from worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala properly is defined as dunya. This dunya, says Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is mal'oon, cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mal'oon, la'na. Everything in it is also cursed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does that mean, curse? Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create something for us and then curse us? I want to put to you in a different perspective. Let's play a game together. Yeah? Maybe you can understand. What is your good name, brother? Fakhruddin. If I had in my hand a nice, beautiful, juicy 0, I gave it to you. What do you have? 0. Good. I gave you 4 zeros. What do you have? 0. 4 zeros. I gave you 9 zeros. Wow, we got more zeros than him and him. But at the end of the day, zero. And if I give you only 3 zeros, 1 0, I give you 100 zeros. What do you have? Like everybody else around you, every Muslim or non-Muslim, Nafsul Ammara is only interested in zeros. Fight, compete. Somehow it went to Akhirah with you. Came to the door of zeros without one, without knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would never end. Curse has no value. It's all zeros. وَمَلْعُونٌ مَا فِيهَا even makes it more emphasis on this concept. How cursed, meaningless, worthless this dunya is in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says in the meaning, I'm trying to save some time. Had this dunya, this world, your existence, this laptop, not a PC junk, the other one, this is Apple. The value, perceived value. Look, side. I am better than you. This dunya had any value in the sight of Allah. How much value? As what's the worth of a mosquito in our eyes? Nothing. As soon as you bang. Rasulullah sallallahu. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave. I've got units. Is nafsul ammara. By everything is created by design. Always, what's going on? Am I going to lose my youth? Am I going to lose my family? Am I going to lose this? Am I going to lose this? Fear, my job. We put up with such nonsense at work because we are constantly fighting. And the kuffar knows this. The whole industries are set in order to feed that fear of yours. Cosmetic industries, purely it's called in psychology. If you want to lose weight, they say stand in front. Dhikr with the tongue has a purpose. Will be many. That's what is expected to pursue. One of my sheikhs, Allah yarhamu, the great alim, great wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad Zaid Kurkcu, Qaddasallahu Sirruhu al-Aziz, he says, my son is giving advice. Everything is an empty pursuit, meaning everything is zero. Everything in this life is, or the cleaner in the same government. You are the richest man or the poorest farmer. You are the most intelligent person or you are the simpleton. Whether you are the sheikh, murshid al-kamil, so to speak, an alim of the highest caliber, or the jahil person, simple Muslim. If by the end of your last breath you have not gained Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure, everything was a vain, empty pursuit. It was just a zero. That's why companions, Radwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'een, they understood this reality. Zeros meant only one purpose in this dunya. Give to gain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. I cannot even fathom, I cannot even comprehend how a human being can come and say, one of the richest men, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asks, Ya Abu Bakr, what have you left for home? They're making I left home, love of Allah, love of Rasulullah, and brought everything here. My life's possession is here. How can you do this? Impossible. With today's standards, he's not clever, he's not intelligent, he's a foolish person. Look, his family's going to suffer. Look, no. This person, after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is number one. He is a Siddiq. He has number one in his heart, firmly established. So every other zero is an opportunity to make number one happy. giving zeros. No problem. This was a summary of the summary of the summary of the talk that we had so far with the last few years with the way we're going. Let us, inshallah, the 8th disease of Nafs al-Amara. Some people have this, more of it. Some people have less of it. I don't know whether this exists in your language, but many of the old Islamic languages, from Persian to Turkish, Urdu, perhaps in Indonesian also, this word exists. Yes, you have? This is part of our education, culture. Correct? Bukhul is one of the attributes of Nafsul Ammar. We need to get rid of, we need to cleanse, make tazkiyah, wash it away, or differently put, we need to keep it under, not kill it. Bukhul, depending on its intensity, has different meanings, different names. Miserliness in English, niggardliness. May Allah forgive me for saying, being a Jew. That's also an expression used by the people. So tight-fisted. So tight-fisted, he doesn't share with anybody, even within himself, and he just licks it, anything that comes out of it. But he's holding in his hand. What is he holding? Zeros. Dunya. Whatever form, whatever shape it is. Hoarding of wealth, usually referred to. And spending little money as possible in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yet we're encouraged to constantly spend. When I first heard this at the age of 13, 14, going through some learning with our shuyukh, do you know that 99% of all the verses in the Quran that encourages, that commands Muslims to spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do you know where they were revealed? What period? Meccan period. When Muslims did not even have food to eat, they're so poor. Allah is asking people, spend. I don't have anything to spend. I've got little food just for myself. Just myself. Spend, give. Allah is not interested in what you have in your hand. It is the ability to be able to give from the heart, from the things that you need most. When the surah that we all read every day in Salat, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhaakum al-Takathur, Hatta Zurtum al-Maqabir. Fascinating concept. How human beings worship zeros. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alhaakum al-Takathur. They went on competing with one another who has more zeros. How? To the extent, the Jahili Arabs, they said, no, our family is more than yours, with more members. They said, no, we are more bigger family than yours. They begin to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. They run out of ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم يومئذ عن النعيم. When this ayah came, okay, we understand the first bit. But what the last end, وَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Allah will question every single one of them for every single gift, ni'mah, zero that He has given to you. To the extent that one of them put his hand up, shaking, he's hungry. Ya Rasulullah, what ni'mah, what blessing that you're talking about? What do we have? We've got nothing. Why
Why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to ask us for something that we don't have? He says, what else? 2 black ones, Sawadan. 2 black ones. What's 2 black ones in Arabic language? The dry, almost dead, half dates they used to pick from the ground. That ni'mah. And the dark water, the murky water, unclean water they used to drink because they don't have anything else in life. It says, even for those you shall be held, you shall be questioned on the day of judgment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, if you were to go home and make a list of the gifts that Allah has given to you, for the lady you have requires a lot of shukr. Yeah? For the brothers, number of taqiyas, number of dresses that you have. He has given us everything. We need to be in a state of shukr for the ni'mah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, just a gift for you, because I read the surah. I always say it when I read the surah to people. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said one day at Maghrib, Isha time, he said, all of you should read 1,000 verses, ayat, from the Quran before you go to sleep. There's a command from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says 1,000 verses from the Quran. Allahu Akbar. 1/6 of Quran. 660, no. What is it? 660, 6,006 ayat in the Quran. What is 1,000 of it? Percentage-wise. Huge. How am I going to read all of that? So I won't be able to sleep on the all night. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is commanding us to read 1,000 verses from the Quran. He said, Ya Rasulullah, how could anybody be capable of doing this? Unless you're a hafiz, that you not remember it. You can read a couple of 3-4 juz, maybe in 1 hour or so, 2 hours. But a normal person, it's impossible. He's asking us something impossible. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden a soul with something that he cannot bear, correct? Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam smiled. He said, if you read this surah, Alhaakum al-Takathur, until the end he read it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you, give you reward as if you read 1,000 ayat from the Quran. Every single surah has unique aspects, but this particular surah. Yeah? Bukhul. Bismillah. What is the root cause of bukhul within ourselves? It is one of the unique attributes of Nafs al-Ammara, and it stems from jahala again, ignorance. Of what? The true knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is an aqidah issue, aqidah problem. Because Nafs al-Ammara doesn't believe in Allah. It's the first thing. Full on kafir. Unless it goes through tarbiyah. Yes? What is the belief of Nafs? The reason why he doesn't give out anything to anybody, constantly hoards, doesn't want to share with anybody. Why? Because he assumes, or she assumes, that if he were to depart from this good, this service, this whatever that he or she possesses, Allah will not give him again. What did he just do? Called Allah bakhil. Called Allah stingy. If I give, maybe Allah will not give me again. That's you're attributing something to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is impossible. Allah may give or may not give, but there's different reason. But you are saying that Allah is stingy. That's what the real cause is. And yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Hadith Kurkcu,
If all of you, jinn of you and men of you, were to get into a single line in a queue, and every single one of you were to ask me for their needs, what they want, and if I were to grant them, every single one of them, everything they wanted, ever wanted, this will not lessen, reduce from my treasures. Not even like when you put a pin into the ocean and lift it up. How much wetness, water have you picked up from the ocean? Nothing, just a little wetness. It says, even that much will not be reduced from my treasures. And yet a person who's bakhil, a person who's got this trait, negative trait, he is accusing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with stinginess. This is an aqidah issue, belief issue. Allah is al-ghani. Allah is the rich, the rich. Al-Razzaq kullu shay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Razzaq. He's the one who gives our rizqi. Not my boss, not my job, not another human being. Allah is the one who gives my health. Not the Panadol or the tablets that I'm drinking or eating. Allah is the one who gives everything. So a bakhil person assumes that if he lets go of the wealth he has accumulated in his life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not give him enough. Therefore, nafs believes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also bakhil, negatively. Actually, there is a psychological disease called hoarding. There are so many documentaries on television. They collect, some people in the habit of collecting and not letting go anything. Even milk cartons, milk bottles, newspapers they buy. Yes, even medicine, Panadol boxes, they can't get rid of. The whole house is full of pile of rubbish from 10 years maybe. He cannot get rid of, he cannot throw it away. It's a psychological disease at the extreme form. It's fascinating. Nafs al-Ammar is no different. It says, mine. I earned it with my hard earned effort. It's mine. I can't share it with anybody. This is Nafs al-Ammar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Kareem, al-Ghani. There is a rule in Islam. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives, He doesn't give one for once. You give me $1, I'll give you another $1. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so generous. He, according to Quran, He gives one, the ratio is 1 to minimum, 1 to 10. 1 to 10. You give $1 to Allah, Allah gives you 10 in return. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam teaches us that sometimes it is 1 to 70. If you spend on your family, your own ayal, aila, your children, Allah will give you in return. You spend $1 on your family, your parents, 1 to 70. Sometimes 1 to 700. Qurban that you do in Eid al-Adha or even in Eid al-Fitr to share with Muslims, because in the community there aren't many people who eat meat, they're poor. If you do this, each one is 1 to 700 times. 1 to 100,000 times. How? When you go to Hajj, when you pray in the Haram, Mecca, each salat is what? As if you prayed 100,000 times that salat. The smartest people, if you ask me, not the ones who make millions from the bitcoins, the smartest people are the ones who go to Hajj, the ones who go to Umrah, and those especially go to Umrah in the last 10 days of i'tikaf in Mecca, in the Haram. They become I can't even use the word, if there is after trillionaire, what do you become? Yeah. spiritually, every single second, every single salat, every single sadaqah. In Ramadan, every action is there multiplied by 70. Yes, every fard that you perform in Ramadan is multiplied by 70. And if you are in the haram, you're fasting, performing fard, giving zakat from the haram, doing your salat, you get your calculations out and see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives. Or beyond, بغير حساب, as Quran says. Dhikrun khafi, the dhikr that you make silently, not loud, showing there is a chance that people might hear and have a different opinion, or your nafs wants it that way, so you want people's opinion on you to be positive. Oh, he makes dhikr, man, mashallah. No. Dhikr khafi is when you get your heart to constantly say La ilaha illallah, subhanallah wa bihamdi, for example, or any of the dhikr adhkar. That is better than, 7 times better than making dhikr aloud in front of people. I'm giving you some examples. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. What kind of dhikr is this? He says it's the lightest on the tongue, heaviest on your scales on the day of judgment. Something that fills, he says, the whole universe. Now, what kind of thing is this? Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Is it done? Yeah, done. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. One of the companions, a lady, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was leaving for Fajr. She's sitting there and counting. She's making one dhikr from one stone, another stone, another stone, another stone, another stone. After Asr, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came back home and he saw her still doing that dhikr. Tasbih. She's doing some dhikr. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, shall I teach you something? A few words that if you were to make dhikr with those, he says, it would have been better, more so than what you've done all day. Magical dhikr. What is it? He says, say for me, Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, adada khalqihi, wa rida nafsihi, wa zinata arshihi, wa midada kalimat. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Such a dhikr. One day Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to his companions in Medina, he says, if you were to say Subhanallah wa bihamdihi 100 times a day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you hasanat 124,000. Saying Subhanallah wa bihamdihi 100 times, it'll take less than 30 seconds. Right? Remember, we're very good at dhikr. Sub. Yeah. I did it. Yeah, okay, you did it. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Absolutely perfect is my Lord. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Free from any shortcoming. And who has the most perfect attributes. Subhanallah. Wa bihamdihi. All praise and hamd and shukr to him. You just recognize who you are and who he is. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. If you say it 100 times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you reward 124,000 times. One of the companions, like some people are very good at calculations, he put his hand up, he's smiling. Chiching. He's got the dollar signs on his eyes. He says, Ya Rasulullah, you mean on the day of judgment, when we come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we'll have, if we say this on a regular basis every day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us so much hasanat, it will be bigger than Mount Uhud. Mount Uhud is the biggest thing in their life, the series of mountains. Is it a little bit bigger? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with a smile, he said, yes. But he says, that will not be the reason as to why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you, not because of your deeds. Out of His mercy, because of your sincerity in your actions, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put you into Jannah. Because we don't deserve anything. constantly, no matter how much we pray. Nothing will take you to Jannah except love of Allah, that the resolve of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you, because He liked you, or He liked you, some of your good deeds. One of my teachers, sallallahu fi dunya wal akhirah, he says, I'll explain to you this way, he says, in everything that you do, you must have the most essential ingredient. I said, what's the most essential ingredient? Coca-Cola is not Coca-Cola without merchandise extra cola, yeah? Essential secret ingredient. Special. What is that secret ingredient? Ikhlas. Sincerity. He says, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in your perspective, He'll put all your good deeds on a table like this. All nicely displayed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look at it. Oh, I like this one. Just take one. It was done purely for Allah. There was no riyah involved. There was nobody around. You had some tear coming through your eyes. Hey, for one act, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, oh, I like this one. As a result, Allah will put you into Jannah. Because He loves you. Not because of your good deeds. And yet, the formula that Islam teaches us, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ, without any boundaries. Ramadan is coming inshallah in 49 days or so. Yeah? Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Sha'ban wa balighna Ramadan. In Ramadan, we're going to fast. Every single deed in Islam has a value, price tag or hasanat tag attached to it. Oh, this one is 2,000, this one is 100, this one is like the way we shop. Every deed has a price, no hasanat tag on it. If you look at the fasting, what's the reward for fasting? There is no price written on it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Hadith Qudsi, fasting is for me, purely done for me, and only I shall give reward for it personally. Come to the day of judgment, your good deeds and bad deeds away, and you look at it from a distance, you're going to cop it. Says, oh no. Angels put your bad deeds, it's so heavy, your good deeds are nothing. And your head is down, your heart is broken, you're going to go to Jahannam. That's the law. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, hold on. One more thing. A little, maybe a piece of paper, like the feather. So small. He says, put this on the Hasanat section. When it puts on the Hasanat section, it hits the ground and sins are so light. They said, what is this one? What is this one? It's the promise I made that fasting is for me and this is the reward for your fasting. Muslim is always in a win-win situation when he stops chasing the zeros, when he has one in front. Akhil. Intense love for worldly things. It's called hubb al-dunya. So, actual bukhul, or the person who is bakhil, is defined as he who abstains, keeps away from spending his wealth that Allah gave him already due to his intense love for them on things or areas required or recommended by Islam is referred to as bakhil. But there is a minimum standard whether this person is bakhil or not bakhil. How? If you're giving your zakat regularly without any question, you're not regarded as a bakhil. That's a threshold. Like if you want to give zakat, you must have nisab, miqdar, yes? If you have above this, you need to give zakat. Similarly, if you have nisab, miqdar, wealth, and you give your zakat on a regular basis, you are not regarded as a bakhil. But you want to take it to a different level, you give sadaqah. You give more charity for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zakat, sadaqah, nafaqah, spending on others for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, under your care, your children, your family. your responsibility, your parents, Salatul Rahim, Da'wah, widows, orphans, needy, wayfarer, all from the Quran. Spend. You are not regarded as a bakhil person. But some people are over generous. MashaAllah, very good. But only generous in front of people. Their family is suffering from poverty. He hasn't got a bottle of milk for his children or rice, but he spends hundreds on his friends. Why? Because he wants his friends to believe that he is generous. This is very dangerous. This is absolutely the trick of shaitan and nafs al-ammar. So there is a balance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ بخل دخل يبخل يبخلون ويأمرون الناس بالبخل. They are not only stingy themselves, they also advise people, what you give? Don't give. They advise people بالبخل ويكتمون ما آتاهم الله من فضله وأعتدنا للكافرين عذابا مهينا. Those who are niggardly, bakhil, and bid people to be niggardly and hide what Allah has given them out of His grace. And we have prepared for the unbelievers a disgraceful chastisement and punishment. So the bakhil person, if you got rid of all the other diseases of nafs al-ammara, except you suffer from bakhil, the same thing. Remember, I gave an example. I said, whether you died from cancer, whether it's a lung cancer or foot cancer or the colon cancer, or you died from a car accident, you're dead. The objective is to stay healthy Islamically. You need to get rid of those diseases that you can't get rid of on your own. You need a doctor to help you. That's the secret. Other terms used in the Quran for the word bakhil in English doesn't make much sense, but in Arabic is such an intense, a very expansive language. For lion, the animal lion, they have 57 names. Such a rich language. When you say to somebody, I love you, what do you love? What else is that can I give you? Infatuated, and that's not love. What else? Like, I'm finished. In Arabic, there are so many different levels of love. Depending on what it is a different word. Muhabba, we say, love, hub. How about wood? Have you heard of wood? Al-wadud, source of love. Depending. For anger, I'm angry with you. I have wrath over you. No, you can't use that one. Only in the books. Ghadab is one. Maqt is another one. There are so many different levels. Kabura maqtan inda Allah. The one that really makes angry Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For you to say something and do something else. Not to practice what you preach. Yeah. Similarly, bukhul has different levels. All from the Quran and Hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Shuh is an intense form of stinginess. But more intense than shuh is qatur. All in the Quran. Comes Laylatul Isra wal Mi'raj or the Nisfu min Sha'ban. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive everybody who asks, except categories of 5-6 people who constantly practice. One of them is وَشُحٌ شَدِيدٌ, the ones who's extremely stingy. Allah will not even look at their books because they're suffering from serious illness. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Man kana qablakum bishuh." Be extremely aware. Be careful with this shuh, bukhul, intense form of stinginess. For the people, nations before you were destroyed themselves through this stinginess. Now, somebody was asking the other day, is tax evasion bukhul? I don't know. Ask the tax experts. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam warns again of this trait. وَأَمَّا الْمُهْلِكَاتِ, the destroyers are فَشُحٌ شَدِيدٌ وَهَوًى مُتَّبَعٌ وَإِعْجَابُ الْمَرْءِ بِنَفْسِهِ. This was a talk 2 weeks ago in our Islamic Center, when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was coming down from Mi'raj. Angels were talking amongst themselves. Shall we ask him? Shall we ask him? Shall we ask him? What's the answer? What's the answer? They came and asked these questions. Set of 3 or 4 sets. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered these. They said, what are the things, munjiyat, that will save you? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says 3 things. And what are the things that will destroy you? Your deen, your spirituality, your akhirah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said these. What are they? Severe miserliness, niggardliness. Second, following your own desires. You say, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes ma'am. Yes. Actually, nafs is female, remember? Yes ma'am, yes sir, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, for everything that nafs wants. You're following your own desires. Or, إعجاب المرء بنفسه. You are so self-infatuated that your opinion is the best opinion in the world. Nobody knows better than you. You know everything. You have an opinion on anything. You never say, I don't know to anything. You don't accept other people's opinions, or when they tell you the truth, you still don't. That becomes kibr, arrogance. This is the ultimate end of a bakhil person who does not clear himself from this disease. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the bakhil person is far removed from Allah. It's got nothing to do with Allah, because he accused Allah with stinginess. Remember, removed from vicinity of Jannah, will never come close to Jannah, let alone enter it. And far removed from love of people, because he also hates people, because he thinks that they're going to come to get his property and wealth, but close to Jahannam. He is number 1 candidate to go into Jahannam. But he was a believer. He was a Muslim. Yes, he's going to burn in Jahannam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and let not those be who are niggardly, bakhil, in giving away that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted them out of His grace, that it is a good for them, never and never. It is worse for them. They shall have that whereof they were niggardly, made to cleave to their necks, around their necks, and on the day of resurrection day. And Allah is the heritage of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is aware of what you do. You can study, if you take the references of the ayat, inshallah you can study in detail. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says again, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah to the best of your ability, as much as you can. وَاسْمَعُوا وَأَطِيعُوا وَأَنْفِقُوا خَيْرًا لَأَنفُسِكُمْ وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. The word shuh for niggardliness, for bakhil, is in this ayah also. Therefore, be careful of your duty to Allah as much as you can, and hear and obey and spend. It is better for your souls. And whatever is saved from the greediness of his soul, these it is that they are successful. Only for this. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ get rid of bukhul. Disease of the nafs. I am almost finished. My time is up. Shall we stop here? People are hungry. The worst possible speaker, no matter what he speaks, is when people are hungry or sleepy. Yes. We've been going since 9:45. We waited for 15 minutes. And inshallah, we'll stop here. Maybe if someone reminds me, I give that duty to Andre. Where is he? What? Okay. We call the slide number 111. Okay. We'll go through this bukhul and the next time, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month of Rajab to bless us with security for Ramadan so we can benefit from the blessings of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the tawabeen, the people who make true tawbah in the month of Rajab, because month of Rajab is the month of tawbah. Those who recognize their inner enemy and make a resolution that I am going to make something about it, and who fight with their nafs al-ammara for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Get rid of the diseases from the heart and come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our shortcomings, our sins. He is all merciful, all forgiving. Nobody is perfect. Only Allah is perfect and His prophets are protected. Everybody is simple people. We never give up on the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we have a propensity towards sinning, disobeying because of our nafs. Yes, tendency towards sinning, but at the same time, no sin of yours could ever be greater than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. He can forgive everything. So we must be in a state of constant state of dhikr, shukr, and tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to live as Muslims and die as Muslims, in a state where at the end of our lives that He is pleased with. His rida is upon us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give our parents, our grandparents, and the people who had some rights on us. May Allah forgive them all, inshallah. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
Jazakumullah khair. Jazakumullah khair for taking us through the Tazkiyatun Nafs series, especially about bukhul. We open up question and answer session just for one question probably because of it. Yeah.
We can have one question each from males and females.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I would like to ask you about hate and then
Hate?
yes, like what recently that happened like in Churchill. I've thought of hate.
Okay. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, the best deed in the sight of Allah, al-hubbu fillah wal-bughdu fillah. This is general boundary for us. We don't hate the person. We don't hate the murderer. We hate the actions that he committed. What has happened in Christchurch? I was in that masjid 2 years ago. I know the place very well. Yes, it is tragic. But the people who died there, they never lost anything. It was Friday morning before Jum'ah, and they came on time. They read Surah Kahf, Yasin in the morning, and they made ghusl, put their best clothes on, with the intention of receiving muhsanat. They came and waiting for Jum'ah time. And what has happened. In the sight of Islam, inshallah, they're all shaheed. Before the first drop of blood touches the ground, 7 things happen to a shaheed. The first one is completely forgiven of their previous sin. Yeah? First one. I was so sad of the incident that happened, but I was more sad for myself. Why I wasn't there? Why I was not amongst them? Yes? That's that side of the story. We will always hate, not human beings, the haram actions. We hate his haram action. What he's done was absolute carnage, murder. Can never and ever be forgiven. Allah will deal with him in the hereafter, but the law will deal with him here also. You do not hate the person. Don't just put into that hatred. You hate the act, what has happened. Yes. And the best thing you can do is make dua for the ummah. And believe me, from the things that I know, I have seen, I have read, part of my education. This was not even landing of a fly and flying up again. The atrocities, murders that has been done to Muslims in Iceland. Innocent people. Serbians in particular. By the thousands of Muslim families, children, women, shot dead, mass grave. Why? The only sin that they have is they say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. They attacked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Kaaba while he's doing salat. They hit on him so much filth, living filth from a newly sweaty filth on his head while in Sajda. Everybody was so scared to even come close to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam because they'll be beaten, except Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. And he was reading from the Quran. He says, "What are you going to kill a person whose only crime is that he believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?" That's the reality. Prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala suffered most in the hands of people. But that Nabi, your Rahmah, I use the word Rahmah, the Prophet of mercy, never and ever held it against these people. Because they are jahil, ignorant. The people who stoned him, where his Mubarak shoes were filled with blood in Ta'if. The angel, Jibreel alayhi salam, came. He says, Ya Muhammad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees your condition. He says, ask anything, so that these angels that are brought with me in charge of these mountains, that will smash the mountains on these people, they'll be completely destroyed. Easier. All they have to do was say, yes. How dare could they do such and such? Love Allahi. Maybe not this generation. Maybe not next generation. Maybe generations after. If there was one Muslim amongst them, there'll be enough for me. We are people of Rahmah, not hate. We hate the action. If that person tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, by some grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes a Muslim, then what are you going to do? And he becomes a serious, really serious Muslim. Are you going to hate him? No. Abu Jahl's son, Ikrimah bin Abu Jahl, he was one of the greatest enemies of Islam. He became a Muslim and he became what? Radiallahu anhu. Many of them, Hind, wife of Abu Sufyan, the one who ate fresh liver in her mouth of Sayyidina Hamza radiallahu anhu, she became radiallahu anha. We feel sorry for him. Deranged person. He has the hatred. We don't have the hatred. Yes? If you begin to hate, you will become to his level. You are the ummah of such Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nabiyyur Rahmah. Yes, there must be justice. Yes, he should suffer for his punishment. Whether they're going to hang him, give him punishment, is he going to be okay? No, in the hereafter he's going to cover more. But if he stays in the prison forever, but in the prison he becomes a Muslim. Last week alone, four prisoners, I go and visit them, became a Muslim. Subhanallah, Aussies, pure. They've got tattoos all over the place. When I'm talking about the stories of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, their tears are rolling through there. I said, it's impossible. Aussies don't cry. But Iman makes you cry. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the hidayah into your heart, enters into your heart, everything changes. So we need to put into perspective. We make dua for the shuhada, and may Allah inshallah include us amongst them. And we try to help. This morning I listened to Prime Minister of New Zealand. He says, we will provide everything for these people. We will cover all their costs. But there are some Muslims trying to collect some money. Be careful. There are many crooks amongst the Muslims. When a tragedy happens, earthquake happens, tsunami happens, you see popping up so many collectors. How many of them reach to their destination? Allah knows. Unless you know the organization 100% that you trust, don't give anything. That's a responsibility. They are trying to use your weakness, your sentimental, emotion, to take your money. Be careful. We need to be alert. This could happen anywhere, including Australia. That Jum'ah, after I came out, I was in tears when the news began to come in. You know why I was in tears? I said, why wasn't it my mosque? It was somewhere else. Why it didn't happen to me when I was in the mosque? You were in the qal'ah. You are in the fortress of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are in a state of wudu. You are ready with your kafan. I was wearing this, ready. No, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for the people who are deceased, gone, they're not dead. They're shaheed, inshallah. Yes, we make our dua for the families and the children. One of them sent me a message. He says, I lost 6 people today. But I am. How can you say this? My husband, 4 children, and a brother of mine. All gone. They came with such hopes to their country. The most peaceful, doesn't have any incident in its history. They chose that particular place to send a message to us, saying that you are never safe. There are lots of political games happening in the international level. It was well planned. We will hear more about this later. But as an individual, as a Muslim, we need to be careful about it. If we were to take revenge, if there was a case, Islam would not have reached to us. The companions were kicked out from their homes. His families were being killed and tortured by the Quraysh. If they took revenge on Quraysh, they're all dead. There won't be any Islam to us. There won't be any single Indonesian Muslim on earth. We are people of love, muhabba, not hatred. We make dua. We make dua, inshallah. I don't want to go into much detail because it's still things are being sorted out. But Muslims have to have a perspective that we're people of mercy, not hate. If you do what they want to do, or if you want to do what they want to do, or they did, there is no difference between you and them. Yes? Inshallah. Do not propagate what they send out amongst your groups. Play it down. Play it down. But this is the reality. Inshallah.
Before we go to the second question, just quick announcement. Inshallah, we are raising money for the New Zealand Aceh as doing our bid.
No problem. Who are you going with? Who's your man?
Okay.
On the side.
The IMCC is partnering up with Human Initiative, and they have already sending their representative there. I think yesterday, but we can still send them money. So Human Initiative is based in Sydney.
I don't know.
No,
I cannot say anything negative
it's
or positive because I don't know. I don't have enough information.
Yeah, it's they are they are have a Sydney office, and we are partnering up with them. Yes, we will leave one of these. I don't know what's this in English.
Bucket.
A bucket outside, just on the door, and we will also distribute this while we're answering the second question, and so we'll pass it on to IMCP and Human Initiative.
Sure.
Second question, and the last one, if we have. Okay, if not, we're gonna wrap up the session. Alhamdulillah. Okay, let's close the session with the kafaratul majlis. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك وبالله التوفيق والهداية والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله
جزاكم الله خير الجزاء والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.